Let's speak to Peter Zalmayev. He joins us from Kiev. Peter is the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. Peter, thanks so much for your time. Just give us an idea of what the overall feeling in Georgian politics is. Is it possible to say the percentage of pro-Russian MPs in the parliament in Tbilisi?
Well, whatever Russian influence may be right now in Georgian politics, it's very, very clandestine because all sides of the political spectrum, all players are avowedly pro-Georgian, pro-independence, and very, at least in their words, skeptical of Vladimir Putin's Russia. Keep in mind, and you mentioned it earlier, that the Russian invasion of 2008 is a real, all too real wound in Georgian body politics. It's very fresh. The memory is fresh. As you remember, Georgia lost two of its territories of Abkhazia and South Ossetia, which have been under Russian protectorate ever since. And you know what is ironic in all of this is that the president herself, President Zurabishvili, in fact, accused the other side, the organizers of the protest, in acting as a fifth column on Russia's behalf. So all sides, each side accuses the other of pro-Russian sympathies, which tells you that Russia remains the toxic, the scary bogeyman in Georgian politics.
Peter, a couple of years ago, the Russian ambassador in Macedonia told a senior government official in Skopje that Moscow has been trying to create a chain of countries in the Balkans that are at best, as far as Moscow is concerned, politically neutral. In other words, not leaning towards the European Union. You seem to be suggesting that Russia is doing exactly the same in Georgia. Is it spread across the Caucasus, this potential Moscow directive?
Well, the Russian ambassador in Macedonia knows from personal experience what he's talking about. The Russians were involved in a plot to unseat the pro-European government in Macedonia in October 2016. And just recently, European courts have handed out indictments to a group of individuals, including 2 Russian nationals, who are being accused of masterminding that plot. And if that happens in the Balkans, you can imagine that it happens even more so in what Russia considers its own backyard, its rightful Soviet post-imperial inheritance. Just remember that Vladimir Putin once said the breakup of the Union was a geopolitical catastrophe. So, of course, Russia is meddling in the Caucasus. I just mentioned Abkhazia and South Ossetia. It is also doing it in eastern Ukraine, in my native country. It's doing it in Moldova. And Moldova has had its share of political disturbances recently. I would also say with hefty Russian involvement. It's doing it in Belarus. It's doing it in Central Asia.
Peter, you'll have to be very brief with this answer. I know you like a controversial question. Who's a bigger danger to world peace, Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump?
It's a very good question, and maybe a rhetorical one. What is most dangerous about both these leaders is that they meet each other in their halfway in their extremely flexible treatment of the concept of truth. And whereas, we have been used to the leader of Russia making a travesty of truth to serve his political goals, including by claiming it had nothing to do with the war in eastern Ukraine, with the downing of H-17. The fact that we would have the same attitude about truth from the so-called leader of the Western world, that is new, that is unprecedented, and that is very dangerous.
Always appreciate your presence on TRT World. Peter Zalmayev, thanks a lot.